In today's class, we are going to start about, this is our session 18. In today's class, we are going to start learning about coordinate geometry. Okay, so coordinate geometry it's like an introduction to both geometry and understanding the coordinate planes. So we have already started this before the break. Now we are going to continue in much detail and try to learn and understand a couple of important things. Okay, hold on. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna write it with a different color. So please make sure that you're also copying this and writing this down. So write down coordinate geometry. In your history class or in your social studies, you might have learned about latitudes and longitudes, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, what latitudes are? Something which are horizontal. So you can consider your latitudes as your x-axis and longitudes as your y-axis, right? So we are going to learn about this x-axis and y-axis and things related to this. There are four important things that I want to go over. The first one is distance between 2 points. So for example, you have a one point here which says 1, 3, and you have another point here which says 5, 7. If you want to find out the distance between these 2 points, what is the formula that you are going to use? So that is something that we are going to learn today. Distance between 2 points. And then you're going to find out what is the midpoint. So I'll tell that there is a point here which is 4, 0. There is another point over here which is negative 2, 8. Just random points I'm getting. So if you have to find out the midpoint between these two, the center point, and what are these two values, how are you going to find that? So that is something that we are going to discuss today. So that is midpoint of two given points. The third one we are going to learn is something called the formula of slope. And then fourth one is point slope form. And finally, we are going to go over 2-point slope form. So these are some of the things that you're going to learn, right? So first, I want to start with the easy one, that is distance between 2 points, right? So I'm going to create a new frame. I'm going to set the background color to black. Write it with distance between 2 points. So this is the first topic that we are going to learn and understand and practice some problems. Okay, this is very easy if you actually see. The formula might look a little complicated, little big, but in fact when you try one or two examples, that's going to be extremely easy. Okay, so the distance between 2 points, I'm going to consider the value as a d between 2 points is given by a formula which is under root x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Now basically what this formula is telling is you have 2 points. Point 1 is x1 y1. Point 2 is x2 y2. Point 1 is x1 y1. Point 2 is x2 y2. Okay, so now you need to find out the distance. So all you have to do is subtract x1 from x2, subtract y1 from y2, square them and put them under root. So we'll start with an example. So the first point, let's say the first point example is 3, 5. Second one is 8, 10. Okay, what does this mean? This means the first point, this point 3 is x1, 5 is y1, 8 is x2, 10 is y2. So you have to simply take the values and plug it in this particular formula. So the formula, I'm going to put it in the box, and I'm going to use the exact same formula to find out the distance between these 2 points. So the distance between these 2 points is, I'll have the root as it is. What is x2 value? X2 value is 8. So I'm going to write 8 minus, what is x1 value? 3. 8 minus 3 whole square plus, what is y2 value? Y2 value is 10 minus, what is y1 value? Y1 value is 5 whole square. 8 minus 3, you know that 8 minus 3 is 5 and you already have a square, plus 10 minus 5 is 5 and you already have a square, and this everything is under the square root. So what is 5 square? 5 times 5 is nothing but 25, and this one 5 times 5 is nothing but 25, that is nothing but root 50. So root 50 can be simplified as 5 root 2. This is a process, and for you to understand this process we need to learn, or we need to understand a new concept called surds. The surds, once we complete coordinate geometry, I'm going to teach you guys about surds. Okay, so don't worry about surds right now. Right now consider that your final answer is root 50 and you can leave it over here. How to convert and how to simplify it to 5 root 2, that is something that you're going to learn when we actually start the topic surds. So don't worry about this right now. Okay, so this particular document is shared with you. So if you are not following up in writing the notes, that is fine. I want you guys to listen to this, but at the end of the day, I want you guys to make sure that you are maintaining the notes. Okay, so let us do one more example, and this time let us do a little more complicated example. Okay, so I'll write the formula again. Distance is equal to x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, and this whole thing is under square root. Write on the formula so you will remember this. Okay, now the next thing is, you are given point 1 and point 2. So point 1 value is negative 3 comma negative 5. Point 2 value is negative 8 comma negative 10. We took the same values like last time, but all of them are in negative. That means they are all in quarter 3. Now you have to find out the distance between these 2 points. So first name them. This is your x1, this is your y1, this is your x2, this is your y2. Now depending on the formula, the distance between these 2 points, first you have to write x2 minus x1, that is x2 value is negative 8 minus x1, x1 value is negative 3, and then whole square plus y2. What is y2? y2 value is negative 10. Negative 10 minus, because there is a minus, I wrote the same minus. What is y1 value? y1 value is negative 5. So minus 5 whole square. And the whole thing is under the square root. Many students, what happens is they write the equation correct, they write the squares correct, but they forget the square root and they make a big blunder. I want you guys not to do that. Remember this. Remember the square root always. Okay, now negative 8. What is minus of minus? Minus times minus is plus 3 whole square plus minus 10. What is minus of minus? Is nothing but plus 5 whole square. And this whole thing is in the square root. Now think about it and tell me, what is negative 8 plus 3? since negative 8 is a bigger value than 3, you still are going to have a negative value, that is going to be negative 5 whole square plus negative 10 plus 5, that is negative 5 whole square, and this is completely under square root. Now what happens when you multiply negative 5 multiplied by negative 5? Square is nothing but negative 5 times negative 5. So negative times negative, you're going to get positive. 5 times 5 is 25. You already have a plus, I'm going to write plus here. Same thing over here. Negative 5 multiplied by negative 5. Negative times negative is positive, and 5 times 5 is 25. So I'm going to write like this. So what is 25 plus 25? You get the exact same answer again, that is root 50. Got it? Let us do one more example before we jump to the next topic. The final example for this problem is going to be point 1. I'm going to give you the values negative 11 comma 6. Point 2 is going to be negative 4 comma negative 2. Sure, right? So let us try to find the distance between these 2 points. So you know the distance formula is x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square under the square root. But now we have to find out which is x1 value, which is y1 value. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. Let us solve for this and see what happens. What is x2 value? x2 value is negative 4 minus, what is x1 value? Negative 11. And the whole thing is in the square plus y2. What is y2? Negative 2 minus 6 whole square, which is under the square root. So now negative 4, what is minus of minus? Minus of minus is plus, and you have 11 square plus, what is minus 2 minus 6? So it's minus 2 and you're subtracting 6, so it's going to go much lower number, so it becomes minus 8 whole square, and all of this comes under the square root. What is negative 4 plus 11? 11 minus 4 is nothing but 7 square plus, what is minus 8 multiplied by minus 8? Minus of minus is plus, so you're going to leave it like this. 8 times 8 is 64. This is going to be under the square root. But you know that 7 square is, 7 times 7 is 49 plus 64. This is going to give you root 60 plus 40 is 100, 9 plus 4 is 13. So it's going to be 113. So that is going to be your final answer. That's how you find the distance between 2 points. Okay? Now, you know that how to find the distance between 2 points. So if I give you a point like this, here you have 6, 0, here you have 8, 15. So you know that what is the distance between these 2 points, right? So you just use the formula, this one, x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, which is all under the square root. So when you use this formula for this problem, you're going to get the solution. So you're going to consider this as x1, y1, this as x2, y2. Essentially, you will just have to substitute or just plug in these values into this equation, and then you get the value of d. So that is distance. Very simple. All you have to do is remember the formula. Now, set the background. Let us learn about the next step, the second part, The second part is called finding the midpoint of 2 points. Find the midpoint of 2 given points. Find the midpoint of 2 given points. So for example, you have a point over here which says 10, 14. You have another point here which says 20, 30. Right? Now there is a line that is joining these two. Okay, so there is a line that is joining that point and this point. What my question is, I need to find out the exact center point, and then you will have the x coordinate and y coordinate. You just have to find out this midpoint. So this is the midpoint, and you don't know how to find this. The simple way to find out is, okay, let me take another color. You take the green part, the x coordinate of this one and the x coordinate of this one, right? You add both of them. What is 10 plus 20? Let me write 10 plus 20 divided by 2. 10 plus 20 is 30 divided by 2, that is nothing but 15. The same thing let us do for y coordinate. So y coordinate is 14 plus 30. So let us write 14 plus 30 divided by 2, because I'm finding the midpoint. So you just add both the values and divide by 2. So what is 14 plus 30? It's nothing but 44 divided by 2, which you're going to get 22. That means the midpoint value, this particular value, is nothing but 15, 22. That is the center point, or that is the midpoint of these 2 points. So from this particular thing, I want to derive our own formula. So let us see the formula. Formula is very simple. You have 2 points x1, y1, and you have another point x2, y2. To find the center point M, to find the midpoint M, this is, let's say this is A, this is B. You find the midpoint M. M is nothing but x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Note this down as well. Right? Very simple formula. Now, hold on. Let me check if you have asked me something. Okay. Now let us go to the next one. We'll try to do one more example, finding the midpoint. Find the midpoint of point A, negative 6, 4, and you have another point B. Let's say this is 8, negative 10. So as I told you, first what we need to do, we need to find out what is x1, y1, x2, y2. So the midpoint formula, if you remember, it is nothing but you just have to add both the x coordinates and divide it by 2, and then add the y coordinates divided by 2. It's always the same to find the center point or to find the midpoint of given 2 points. So what is x1 here? X1 is nothing but this one, negative 6. What is x2? Plus 8, and then divided by 2, comma. I'm just taking the values and putting it in x1 and y1 values. Y1 is 4 plus What is y2? Negative 10. Do not forget the negative values. Many students get wrong over there. They forget the negative values and they get some different answer than what exactly is the correct answer. So what is negative 6 plus 8? It's nothing but 8 minus 6. 8 minus 6 is 2 divided by 2, comma 4 plus of minus. You know that plus of minus is minus. So you're going to write 4 minus 10 divided by 2. So, okay, hold on. This is nothing but 2 over 2. You can strike it off and then you're going to get 1, comma. What is 4 minus 10? 4 minus 10 is negative 6 divided by 2. That is 1, comma. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So that's how you get the center point of these 2 points. So the center point, if this is the center point, midpoint, this is 1, comma, negative 3. How did I get? I just have to add x1 and x2 divided by 2. Add y1, y2 divided by 2. Very simple. Let us do one more before we jump to the next one. Find the midpoint of point A, negative 3.5, comma 7.2, B 12.5, comma 18.8. Okay, I am taking decimals now. So first we have to identify which is x1, which is y1, which is x2, y2. Now you just have to add x1 plus x2. So to find the midpoint, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma y1 plus y2 divided by 2. What is x1? x1 is negative 3.5 plus what is x2? 12.5 divided by 2, comma what is y1? y1 is 7.2 plus 18.8 divided by 2. Now let us see what happens when we add these two. Negative 3.5 plus 12.5. Negative 3.5 plus 12.5. That is nothing but 12.5 minus 3.5. So 0.5 and 0.5 you can cancel. 12 minus 3 is nothing but 9. So you get 9 over 2, comma. Here you have 7.2 plus 18.8. 8 plus 2 is 10, but you have a decimal, that's why you take 1, 0 over here, and you put the point here. 18 plus 7 is 25, plus 1 is 26. So you're going to get 26.0 divided by 2. Now converting this to the fractions, to decimals, you get 9 over 2 is nothing but 4.5 or 4.5, and 26.0 is nothing but 26. 26 divided by 2 is 13. So that would be your final answer. That is nothing but 4.5, comma 13. The point that is between negative 3.5, comma 7.2 and 12.5, comma 18.8 is nothing but 4.5, comma 13. So this is your midpoint. So you simply have to add both the x coordinates and divide it by 2. Add the y coordinates and divide it by 2. So that's how you get your either x coordinate or the midpoint. Now let us twist this question a little bit and see how we can actually do it. The midpoint of A and B is 6, 3. Okay, I'm giving you the midpoint. midpoint is 6 comma 3 and point A value is 5 comma 7. So you know that A value, this is A, this is 5 comma 7, and this is midpoint, this is 6 comma 3, and you have point B and this value x2 and y2. These are unknown. So you need to find out the B value. You need to find out the B value. How are you going to do that? So now you back to basics again. So you know that the midpoint value or the midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2 comma y1 plus y2 divided by 2, right? So what is a midpoint? Midpoint is 6 comma 3. 6 comma 3 is equal to x1. You know that this is your x1, this is your y1, this is your x2 and this is your y2, which are unknown. So let us leave it like that. So x1 value is what? 5 plus x2 by 2 comma y1. What is y1? Y1 is 7 plus what is y2? Y2 value is 3. No, y2 value is unknown. We don't know y2 value. So I'm going to leave it like this. So now what you need to do is you need to relate the x terms with x and y terms with y. That means you're going to get two equations over here. 6 is equal to 5 plus x2 divided by 2. Last year when we were learning about LHS and RHS, left hand side and right hand side, I told that if something is dividing, when it goes to the other side it becomes multiplication. So that means 6 times 2 is equal to 5 plus x2. 6 times 2 is 12 is equal to 5 plus x2. When plus 5, this is a positive, right? When you have no sign, that means it is positive. When plus 5 goes to the other side, it becomes minus 5. So 12 minus 5 is 7, that is equal to x2. So that's how you get x2. Similar, exact same process I'm going to follow to find y2. So 3 value is equivalent to 7 plus y2 divided by 2. When 2, which is dividing, when it goes to the other side, it becomes multiplication. So you know that 3 times 2 is 6 is equal to 7 plus y2. Here when you do not have any sign, that means you have plus. When plus goes to the other side, it becomes minus. So 6 minus 7 is equal to y2. 6 minus 7 is negative 1, that is equal to y2. That's how you get 7. x2 value is 7 and x1 value is, sorry, y2 value is negative 1. So these kind of questions you might not find it in your normal test, but when you write an Olympiad or when you write any kind of competitive exams, so they're not going to easily ask you the center point, but they're going to give you the center point or midpoint, and they're going to give you one more point, and they're going to ask you what is the missing point, what is the other point. So this is an example of that kind of problems. So it looks little lengthy, it looks more steps, but in fact if you see it and if you focus on it, it is actually easy. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to learn is about slope. I will just give you the formula of the slope, but we are not going to do any problems on the slope because I want to review this one more time and then we are going to stop today's class. Okay, so the formula of slope is represented by the word or the alphabet M. M means slope, and the definition is nothing but rise over run. We will go in detail for this in the next class, but just remember the formula is the representation is M. It is nothing but rise over run, that is slope. And the formula of the slope, when you are given 2 points, x1 y1 is one point and x2 y2 is another point, you have to first write y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So this is the formula for slope which we are going to learn in our next classes. So don't worry about this right now. Let us review what you have learned in today's class. This is a review. In the review, let me write down the distance formula. So distance formula is the first one that you have learned. That is, you have 2 points, x1, y1 and x2, y2. So let's say this is a coordinate plane. This is your y-axis, negative y. This is your negative x. This is your x. So let's say this is your point A. This is your point B. So point A is somewhere over here. Point B is somewhere over here. So you're trying to find out what is the distance between these 2 points, right? To find the distance between these 2 points, you're simply going to use the formula x2 minus x1 whole square excuse me guys, plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Now you have the same points A and B. You're trying to find out what is the center point. What is the midpoint? So let's say this is your midpoint, right? So this is your midpoint zone. So if you want to find the midpoint, then you're going to write midpoint is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. This is your midpoint. And then you're going to learn about your slope is m. So I'm going to write slope m. This is midpoint m, mp. Midpoint can be anything. It can be A, B, C, D, anything, any alphabet you can take it. But slope is always considered as smaller m. So the formula for this is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So these are the 3 important formulas which will lead us to understanding the point slope form or 2-point form or y-intercept form. All of these things comes later, or how you can get 2 solutions or 1 solution. All of these things can come little later, but you need to be thorough with distance, midpoint and slope. So we'll be in one more class, maybe next Tuesday after you come back from your holiday, this long weekend, Martin Luther King holiday. So you're going to work on some problems by using distance and midpoint formula with me. So I'll be giving you the formula, I'll be giving the points, you just have to find out what is the distance, what is the midpoint. Alright, so now let me stop the recording.